Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I'm Jordan, and today we're going to look at TX blended whiskey. And I will say, I was just on the website a couple minutes ago trying to figure out what's going on with this whiskey. My wife and I did try this the other day, right after I picked it up, and because on the Whiskey Vault they had talked about it, I've heard things about it. It is amazing that all of a sudden here in Wyoming, in the last, I don't know, 6 months, TX, we've seen the blended whiskey. I have seen the bourbon, and I should have bought that one, although I didn't. And then Balcones has had several offerings available throughout the state that I've seen. So we're getting some Texas whiskeys here, which is, it's always nice to kind of get stuff from other places. But I was looking because now we'll get into this bottle, but my memory from the tasting that my wife and I did was that this tasted like a short aged. So this is an American whiskey, and the definitions for American whiskey, there's no age statements. There's not a whole lot of anything. It just has to. Oh, no, I'm going to try and come up with this off the top of my head. I think it just has to be made from grain, and it has to be it has to come off the still at under 180 proof, I believe. No aging requirements, no nothing when it comes to American whiskey. And so, it's been a while since I've looked at all those definitions and requirements. But with that, if I remember correctly, this tasted just like grain alcohol, wasn't really aged too much, and then had some like vanilla flavoring mixed into it. Now, I was trying to look it up to see if there was any sort of disclosure about any of that stuff. I don't think. Oh, right here. Perfect. See if I can read this. It says this is. It's written out rather than being in numbers, but it says 60% grain, corn, neutral spirits. So right there, it's 60% grain alcohol mixed with whiskey, I assume. And then does it say if there's any food coloring or anything? Blended and bottled by Firestone and Robertson Distilling Company, Fort Worth, Texas. No age statements, no disclosure, but to me this tasted like it had some um, some flavors added to it, a little bit of vanilla, because it was just really strong over the top vanilla. So that's what I was remembering. That's what I'm looking up. When you go to their website and you look at it, they talk a lot about the bottle and like the little scroll design down here, and that there's this chunk of canvas here around the neck. It does have like this faux leather pouch or patch on the top of the cork. It's kind of cool. It is a very nice looking bottle. I will give it to them for sure. But it doesn't speak too highly when you talk more about your bottling than what's in the bottle. But this is an award-winning. Well, here, I'll bring it up. I got the website right here. It's an award-winning whiskey. It won the San Francisco World Spirits Competition 2013 double gold. Okay, good on them. So I guess that comes down to, and actually since I got the webpage up, let's just look at it. Best American, some of the words, Best American Craft Whiskey and Double Gold in San Francisco. Silver, so it's traces of Texan silver spurs and belt buckles are found in our silver band. So that's the band down here at the bottom. Boot stitch, we call the clover design on our bottle a boot stitch, as this pattern is seen on the stitching of cowboy boots. So that's the scroll work that's on that silver band. Canvas, it has a woven canvas neck wrap as a tribute to the canvas chuck wagons of our Texas heritage, and the cap is a one-of-a-kind handcrafted cap from reclaimed cowboy boot leather. So that's everything about this bottle. Doesn't tell you a dang thing about what's in the bottle. Now here, I'm going to do this, and I almost never do this, if ever, but here we go. According to them, their tasting notes. Their nose is vanilla bean, pear, and is slightly sweet. That's what it calls it. Their palate, it says honey, butter, banana, and caramel. The finish, long, smooth, no burn. So for starters, on all three of those, only half of the words that they used were actual notes. The rest of them were just descriptors of experiences and not actual flavors or scents. Also not a good sign. But anyways, there you go. That's and now, having finished that portion of it, I've pretty much read everything that was listed and available on their website about this bottle. There was no, like, the 60% corn grain whiskey was written on the bottle. Like I said, it didn't say 60% in number form. It said 60, the word 60%, hidden down in all of the small fine print here on the back of the bottle. Okay. No age statement, no nothing. So, with that, it is 41% or 82 proof. And again, with all that, I'm not trying to knock any of this. It's just, I like to know what I'm drinking, especially if it's flavored or anything like that. But that's okay. Not trying to knock them. Picked this up for $30.49 here locally. So not very expensive, which is always nice in case it's not something that I appreciate. And in the nose, so this is what I was remembering from when my wife and I tried this. The nose literally smells like vanilla extract. Never a good sign, in my opinion. If you're going to flavor something, now it says it's blended, but they never tell you what they're blending. So I think, personally, that they are blending flavors in with it. I could be wrong. I could be completely mistaken. But from the nose, that is what I smell. Oddly enough, I do kind of get a banana cream pie nose to it as well. But mostly vanilla extract is what I smell. And very sugary, like vanilla frosting. Okay, let's go in on the taste. Drinks like water, so I guess we'll give them the smoothness. It tastes like grain alcohol, where it has that very bitey back end to it, very metallic. It's very vanilla. It's very sweet. It tastes like vanilla extract. But yeah, like they said, it is smooth where it's not punchy with the ethanol at all. It's not bitey in that regards. The finish is just watery thin. So, in regards to whiskey, this is not what most people think of as whiskey. It's not bourbon or anything like that. The American whiskey category has a huge breadth of things that could be covered by it, and it has very few limitations on it. So, and just whiskey in general, right? So maybe it's not even American whiskey because it doesn't claim it's American whiskey. It just says blended whiskey. So let me back up all of that and say that whiskey as a category just says it must be distilled from grains and come off the still at less than 180 proof, I believe. I think that's correct. Those are the only two requirements to be considered legally whiskey in the United States. Everything else on top of that, so like bourbon has really tight restrictions, rye whiskey, single malt, like all these different categories have strict policies and rules that you have to follow in order to put that label or that name on your label. And that makes things like a lot of people thumb their nose at just the whiskey category, which I do not, because there's a lot of great things and experiments that can be found in that category. But it's also a quick, cheap, and easy way to make a buck if you're looking to do stuff. Now, I'm not saying that's what this is, but it definitely smells like it's just some flavoring added to some grain whiskey. And I wouldn't be surprised if the color is caramel coloring as well, and that there's no actual whiskey in this, aged whiskey in this. Again, not knocking them, but this Smooth and easy drinking, very, very sweet, but in an artificial way. Not knocking that. This is a mixer in my book, and for 30 bucks, kind of fits the mixer price range as well. Boy, I might have destroyed both my palette and my glass here. But anyways, that's all I got to say about that. I really wish I had bought the bourbon instead, because I'm curious about that. And both Rex and Daniel were big fans of the TX bourbon. So $30.49 here locally in Wyoming. That's all I got to say about it. Like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on BitChute or YouTube. Drop in the comments down below what you think of TX blended whiskey. Any information that I got wrong or that you have to add to that, what experience you've had with it, and what you can find it for in your area, if at all. Not bad, just not my jam. That's all I got to say about it. So this one will be going into a bunch of cocktails. As always, thanks for watching. You guys have yourselves a great day. We'll catch you in the next video where we get into this McCarthy's Oregon single malt here. And that'll be quite excellent. So catch you later.